Hi Shravani, Ipsita, good morning. Okay, let us go to AWS console. Yeah, fine Ipsita, thank you. Yeah. Let's start. In last class, we have been talking about NAT gateways, right? Yes, creating a NAT gateway. Sign in. Go to VPC. Yes, we have two VPCs, right? One is default VPC, another is my VPC, which we have created our own VPC. And these are subnets we have created so far. So let's go here. Let's change the region because there are so many are there here. It might be a bit confusing. So let's change the region. Let's try with this Ohio region. Okay, right. As usual, default VPC is there. And one more VPC is there. Seems like I have created one VPC here. Yeah, here. And let us call this as default VPC. And create subnets. Already all these are public subnets, we know that. Subnet 1 public, because all they have internet gateways attached to their route tables, right? Subnet 2, this is also public, and default, let's call it as default. Save. Default. Save. And here we have subnet 3. This is also default. Save. Okay. And then route table. So we have two route tables. One route table is default route table of default VPC, and another one is route table of the other VPC which we have created. So this is main route table of default VPC, right? And also let us open the presentation. and we are creating this NAT gateway. So let us create one more subnet. Here I am creating one more subnet in the default VPC itself. So go to subnets. All these are anyway default subnets. And let us create one subnet in default VPC. And last time we got this when we created a VPC in our own, when we have launched EC2 instance in our own VPC, and we try to execute the ping request. For some reason, it's not coming. So let's try with default VPC. Let us create one private subnet here in default VPC. So this is default VPC. I have chosen this, and this is the CIDR block of default VPC. And I know I have to choose subnet within this subnet side and range within the VPC side and range. So I'll go here, subnet name, let us call it as private, and I am launching this private subnet in default VPC itself. So let's call it as private default. And availability zone, no preference, but it's better to choose one. Why? Because sometimes you cannot launch T2.micro instances in C region. In Mumbai, you cannot launch. Why? Because it's more capacity reservations. These things happens in C region. This is a new region, Ohio. So anyway, let's go for 2B and 2B and our CIDR range. Already there are 3 subnets. So let's say 172.31. Let's give some 60.0/24. 24 means we will get around 256 some 256 IP addresses. So this is our CIDR block. And create subnet. So these are CIDR ranges. So 0 is the first availability zone in default VPC subnet 1. And you can see the range is /20. That means 4089 IP addresses available. This is second and third. And this is the subnet which we have launched just now. And we should have route table too. And by default, there will be one route table for entire VPC, and it's called as main route table. And if you all the subnets by default are attached to it, if you don't mention explicitly, then all the subnets are attached to that route table. We already know that. Go to route table, main route default is there. Let us create a route table, right? And this route table is private. VPC, where in default VPC itself. Create route table. So let us recap this concept once. So what we have done. We have VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. And when you create a VPC by default, you will get a main route table. So let's say VPC. So you can create your own VPC, and then subnet. So subnets or subnetworks within the VPC. You can divide the VPC into subnetworks, and then route tables and gateways. So VPCs we know, subnets we know, route tables. So if for public subnets, route table should have IGW. Then only they can route traffic to outside internet. And then after creating the VPC, the first thing we have to do is create an internet gateway, attach internet gateway for communication on internet. Then we have created subnets. Public subnets by default are there, and private subnet. And when you create VPC, by default a route table will be there, and we call it as main route table. And this main route table you have to add internet gateway, then only public route is possible. So let's say this is public route, and we are make all the already main route table of default VPC will have this main route table. Then let us create private route. And here this private route, if we want instances within this private route table to communicate on the internet, there are two options. You can use NAT gateway and NAT instance. So these things. And coming to gateways, there are different types of gateways. After talking about all of them, we will sum it up. So internet gateway, address only internet gateway. Already we talked about internet gateway. We know what it is. If we want EC2 instances within our VPC, within our subnet to communicate on the outside internet, then that VPC should be attached with internet gateway. Not only that, and the route has to be there in the route table. So let's say internet gateway. And then we talked about address only internet gateway also. That means it allows all the outbound rules are allowed, and only outbound is allowed. Egress only traffic. Egress means out, sending out, going outside traffic, and ingress traffic means coming into the VPC. So if you want to communicate outside, EC2 instances can send, but you should not. We don't want outside internet to send traffic into the VPC. Then address only internet gateways. Now we are talking about NAT gateway, right? So NAT gateway, where it is used, NAT gateway is used uh, uh, for private instances, for private subnets to give them internet access. NAT gateway is used. So let us go and configure one NAT gateway. We have already chosen VPC. We are going with default VPC this time. And subnets, we have 3 public subnets. All these 3 are attached to main route table. And now we have created a private subnet. And what makes this subnet private? Route table. So let us go and edit route table. We have not yet done that. Just named it as a private subnet. But what makes it private? Route table. When there is no internet gateway attached to route table, then subnet which is associated with the route table will becomes private, right? Go to route table. We have main route table. Just now I think we have created private route table too. Go here. First subnet association. Have all these subnets. Edit subnet association and private default. Let us choose this and save association. Right, guys? So now I have 3 route tables. Anyway, this is I have an extra VPC here. Let us delete anyway. And coming to route tables, and that extra route table gone when I delete the VPC. So main route table default, and it is a public one, and it has 3 subnet associations, and these 3 are availability zones also. And coming to routes, it has public route. That means destination is internet, and through this internet gateway, this route table can route all the traffic to internet. And we know this. Now, route tables, private route, subnet associations, private subnet is a part of it. Coming to routes, it can route only local traffic, right? And we want sometimes our instances within the private subnet, our private instances, to communicate to the outside internet. We talked about 2 scenarios. Backend servers. Backend servers, they don't need to connect to internet. Internet facing is not required, but when there is updates or security patches, which has to be installed from the internet, in such scenarios, private instances has to connect to internet. So we can do that using NAT gateway. So let's go. Here we have NAT gateway. Create NAT gateway. Let's call NAT. This is NAT gateway. So let's say NAT, my NAT gateway. So let's say my NAT and subnet. Say always NAT gateway has to be launched in public subnet, not on why? Because it uses internet gateway attached to your public subnet. You can choose any one public subnet, 2A, 2B, 2C. All these 3 are public subnets. Let us choose 2A. Connectivity type, we want NAT gateway as a public. You can also use private NAT gateway. Private NAT gateway, suppose a public NAT gateway to communicate on the internet, and a private NAT gateway, suppose if you want to route the traffic using NAT gateway to other subnets, then you can use private. So public. And allocate elastic IP. Allocated. Create NAT gateway. So state is pending. After creating NAT gateway, we have to add a route in the route table. Still in pending state. But let's see. If we get NAT gateway in the drop down, we can add it to the route table. So route table of what? Private route table. I have created NAT in public route table. That means one of the public subnet which has a main route table attachment. Now we are associating NAT gateway in private route table. Let's go here. See, this is VPC subnet. This is another VPC subnet, and it has public IP. We have launched our NAT here. This is NAT. We have launched our NAT gateway here in the public subnet, and route table of this subnet. We are editing route table of this subnet with NAT gateway, with NAT gateway route. So let's go and add this to the route table of private subnet. Private route table. Edit routes. Destination is internet, but how it sends traffic to internet, not using internet gateway, NAT gateway. Seems like my NAT gateway has done, created successfully. Then it's here. Choose the NAT gateway, save changes. So route tables, we have two route tables. One is main route table, and all the public subnets, the default subnets or public subnets, are associated with this route table. There are no subnet associations. There are explicit subnet associations. But see, this is main route table. When you add any subnet to this VPC, by default it is attached to main route table unless you explicitly mention it. So all these have this route table because this is a main route table, and main route table has public route, right? And then we have our private route table. It has one subnet association which we explicitly mentioned it, and it is a private one. And what makes it private? Route table itself, because there is no internet gateway attachment. And sometimes we need access to outside internet, so we are giving NAT gateway attachment here. We have created one NAT gateway, attached it here. Clear, guys? Any doubts up to this part? I think we already discussed in our last class. Okay, we will go to EC2. And And here let us launch EC2, one in public and another one in private. Launch instance, select, default VPC, availability zone, let us choose 2A or 2B, go for 2B. This is private, not private. First we'll launch public. So this is a default one, public one. And subnet setting automatically will get IP address, but still we will enable it. Next, add storage, add tags, security group. I'll choose any existing security group, but no security group, existing security groups. Let's see this launch wizard one. Yeah. So let us use this. It has both HTTP and SSH rule. Review and launch. Launch. EC2 Ohio. I think I have this key pair. So launch instance. But let me check. It's there. So let's use that and launch instance. And this is public instance, or let us call it as front end server. And let us launch private instance. So what make instance private? For one thing, without assigning public IP, disable, we don't want public IP because that instance has to be private. And also the subnet which we are using for this should not have that internet gateway attached to it. So that is private subnet, private hyphen default. And we are going with default VPC. And in default VPC, we have created private subnet, chosen it, and disabled public IP. So even though we have disabled the public IP and no route on the internet, but still we will add the HTTP rule. Why? Because HTTP rule or ICMP rule, which is used to communicate on the internet. Maybe now and then, once in a while, when there are updates or security patches, anything like that, even backend servers has to get it from the internet. So let us add TCP rule, custom TCP rule. But anyway, HTTP is there, it's enough. Or what we can say, we will edit this later. Let us keep it as is and review and launch. Review and launch, launch instance. This is backend server. So what we have done here, once front end server, and here backend server. And a public subnet has main route table and private subnet is attached with private route table. And now we also create a NAT gateway, and let us also have added route in private subnet, right? So let's go. We will see. Front end server, let us connect to it. First, I'll go to CD downloads, and then key pair. This is the key pair. And then SSH. And now I'll log in as root user as usual. And CD. And when you have logged in as using SSH, you can copy key pair So key pair name is EC2 Ohio dot pem from downloads location, right? So let's see. Let's create VI. I don't remember the exact command. Ohio dot pem. And text edit. So what we are doing, we are copying the key pair, copying this key pair into this one, this here, escape colon WQ exclamatory mark. It will save as well as exit. And now we have ec2ohio.pem, and using this we can connect into we can SSH into our private instance. And this is my public instance. See, 170.31.24.242. This is my private instance. Sorry, public instance. This is public instance, a private IP address of my public instance. And we know that it has an internet gateway. It can route traffic on the internet. HTTP rule is there, and you can run pin command. Pin can be in small or capital. Let's say google.com. You can try with any other web page also. So it's working. Now let us SSH into our private instance. SSH into private instance. First I have to execute this chmod, which modifies the permission, makes permission as 400. That means it's not viewable publicly. Regular users cannot view it. It is and they cannot read. Regular users cannot read, write simply. So our key pair name is ec2 hyphen ohio dot pem and SSH into it. SSH hyphen I ec2 this is my key pair name, and it's going to SSH into private EC2 instances, that is backend server. This is the private IP. Connect, and here EC2 user at the rate this one. So let us copy whole thing. Go here. Yes. Now let us clear first and run this pin command. See, now it's working on private instance. Now let us remove, let us stop this first. This is my private instance. Now let us remove NAT gateway attachment. Go to instances, VPC, subnets, private subnet, and this private subnet route table. This is a route table. So edit route table association. You can edit here itself. No, here you can change route table. Anyway, we will go with private route table itself. This is the route table. Let us go here and routes. Let us remove this, or we can also delete the NAT gateway. We are done. We don't need our NAT gateway anymore. So let us delete our NAT gateway. So deleting. Still it's showing active. Anyway, let us remove the NAT gateway association. Go to route table and private route. We don't want NAT gateway now. Edit routes. Remove this. Save changes. Now private route table can route locally, only locally. Now let's go here. Right, no response. Why? Because no route to internet. Clear guys? Clear about NAT gateway concept? And then we have NAT instances. NAT gateway is AWS managed service. You can create a NAT gateway and attach this NAT gateway in the route table, and all the private instances can use this NAT gateway and communicate to the outside internet. We know this. And previous to NAT gateway, before NAT gateway has been introduced into the AWS, people used to use something called as NAT instance. NAT instance is a EC2 instance which is used like this NAT gateway. And sometimes when people have their front end servers or application servers, but they don't want expose them directly to internet. If some, there are a lot of tools there on the internet which can trace the source IP of the server. When we reach any server, we use domain names. So example.com, we use this, right? www.abc.com. We use URLs. We don't actually know what is the IP address of the server. There might be many servers, 10 or 20 servers which are attached with the domain name. We don't actually know which server is sending us response back. We only know the domain name. But there are a lot of tools which can trace uh, where the response is coming from, the source IP. So if we want to protect in such scenarios, if we don't want our server IP to be on the public, we don't want a public IP to our server at all. So what we can do, we can keep our application server as a private one. Let us go here, go to EC2. Now I don't call this as front end server. We are talking about different scenario. This is just a public instance, public EC2 instance. And then we have backend server. Let us not call this as backend server. Instead of that, we'll call it as application server. Application server here is private. It doesn't have a public IP, DNS. It only have private IP. Private IP is there. And we need to get the traffic from the clients, because this is application server, application is running on it. And we need traffic coming from the outside internet from the clients to be routed to this application server. But this application server don't have public IP. It cannot communicate on the internet. So either you can use NAT gateway like how we have used by setting up a NAT gateway. Only NAT gateway elastic IP is exposed to internet, but not your application servers one. You can use NAT gateway or NAT instance, also called as Bastion server or Jump server. Let us launch one more instance. And this time AMI, I'm not choosing this AMI. I can create a EC2 instance with a regular Linux AMI and then can install NAT into it, network address translation installations. Those software has to be installed. Why? Because the instance which we are going to create now is a jump server. Jumps means it accepts traffic from the internet and routes it to application server. This particular EC2 instance has nothing to do with the in sending back response. It doesn't have server side scripts, server side data or HTML web pages, nothing. It is just a jump server or Bastion server. It has to route the traffic to application server. And we have AMIs which have that NAT, network address translation software packages already installed on them. And when I search for NAT, I got 46 results in AWS Marketplace and 339 in community AMIs. So let us not use AWS Marketplace. They are for see, they are this is free tier eligible for NAT gateway appliance for from cohesive networks. Yeah, we can try this. Built on this provides a NAT gateway. Yes, we can use this. These are some um, marketplace AMIs. So that means certain vendors like cohesive networks is one networking vendor. They are providing their own NATing software, and the underlying operating system is Linux. And we have community AMIs. So these are Amazon AMIs. Amazon AMIs. So all these have NATing, supports NATing. They have that NATing installation on them. So let us choose first one, AMI VPC NAT. Let us choose this one, select. Yeah, t2.micro, and it has to be launched in any one public subnet, any public subnet, right? So let us choose 2B or 2A. Anyone would be fine. Let's say 2B. So it's default subnet and it has a public route. Enable public IP, and it's better to have an elastic IP. Why? Because it's going to act as a jump server, right? We don't want our jump server elastic IP to be a dynamic one. So auto assign public IP, elastic interface. So let us add storage tags, security group. Here I'll call this as NAT instance security group. And this NAT instance security group will add HTTP rule, HTTP, as usual HTTP rule or custom TCP rule. You can choose anyone. all TCP, custom TCP2. Let's keep HTTP and add one more rule. And why this rule? Let us edit this later. Let us add this rule later. First, we will launch our instance. Launch instance, review and launch. Seems like I have exceeded my 30 GB. I have some instances running in Mumbai region also. So let's say make general purpose yes next. Launch. View instance. And this is NAT instance. Save. I have public instance, application server, NAT instance. I'll use public instance to log into application server. Why? Because application server is private one now. And use NAT instance to route traffic to application server. NAT instance, or you can also call it as Bastion. Bastion server. It is actually server which accepts client requests, but it will not serve them. That means sends response back. It will route that to application server. Clear, guys? Any doubts? We have created a NAT instance. The only difference is the AMI we have used have should have that NAT network address translation netting technique software installed in it, and we have certain AMIs. We have chosen one AMI, and now what we will do, will as usual go edit route tables. VPC, subnets, private default subnet, right? And it uses this route table, and it has only a local route. Let us edit routes, add a route, destination is internet, and this time we will use instance. NAT instance, this one, right? We have added instance. Save changes. Done. Let us go back. Also, let us have a look into CIDR range of private subnet. This is the CIDR range of private subnet. Now go here, EC2. Let us connect to application server using public instance, because application server is private now. Already in SSH. Or I can also connect through I already copied the key pair, so this time I can also connect through browser. Connect EC2 instance connect. This is public instance. We already created this EC2 key pair, copied EC2 key pair here. Now let us connect to application server, which is private. First chmod. Okay, we cannot copy here. Chmod 400. EC2. Uh, this is my key pair, right? Dot pem. And then SSH. SSH using this key pair. Dot pem. Into, I need to give the private IP 172.31.60.76 EC2 user. User 60.76, right? So we have connected. You can see this is our application server or private server now. Now I cannot, I already added instance, right? I already attached instance to the private route table. Let us say pin. It's not working. Why? Because we have to make few changes to our NAT instance. So we have created NAT instance. We have added NAT instance to the route table. And there are few changes that has to be made to the NAT instance too. So let us go to NAT instance, this NAT instance. So the first thing we have to do is go to actions under networking. You will have change source or destination check. So what happens is the traffic coming to these EC2 instances or going out from the EC2 instances, this change source or destination check will keep a check on them. Check whether source and or destination is the same instance. Suppose if you are trying to download something into your EC2 instance from the internet, then this change source destination check checks that is it the right EC2 instance, is it the source from where the request is going. When the response comes back, suppose yum install httpd, if I want to run this, yum install httpd, we have already run this, right? I am installing httpd from the internet. Then what this source destination check will do is it will keep on checking that is this is the instance from where request is going. That means this is the source. When response comes from the HTTPD, which is maintained by Apache, comes, it installs on the destination. When comes from, installs on this machine. So it just checks whether source and destination is it the same instance. But now this is not a server. It's not front end server. It's not back end server. It's not application server or database server. It is a jump server, a bastion server. So this bastion server, it's neither act as source nor destination. Source is application server. Destination will be application server. So when application server is sending response, it will become source. When client is requesting for application server will become destination, but not this one. So we have to disable that. Change source or destination check. Stop. We don't want this checking. Save. This one thing is done. And another thing is we have something called a security group. Without a rule in security group, instances will not allow traffic. So this instance allows traffic from the outside internet, allows SSH, but now this is a NAT instance. It has to allow traffic. It has to route the traffic to the other EC2 instance. So we have to edit the security group. So security, this is a security group. Edit inbound rules, add a rule. We have HTTP, we have SSH. Now we are using so let's say custom TCP rule through port number 80 or all traffic, all ICMP traffic. Let's say all ICMP traffic. Do we have all traffic? Yeah, let's say all traffic. All traffic should be allowed into this instance coming from, either you can give security group of other instances. That is one way. You can choose any security group from here. This one, you can choose that. Or if you want to make this NAT instance, a NAT instance for other EC2 instances within the private subnet, you can also use CIDR range. You can use this security group. So this security group is attached with private instance. This is one way. Or you can use CIDR block. Dot 60 0/24. What is this CIDR block? Save rules. This CIDR block is CIDR block of private subnet. This is private subnet, right? This is a CIDR block. So that means with this rule, what I am saying, with this rule, we are saying allow all the traffic into this EC2 instance, allow the all traffic coming from this CIDR block. Save rules. Save rules. Why this? Not any edits made on existing rules will result in edited rule begin. So preview changes. Cancel. You have, okay, cancel. Anyway, we have this rule. Now let's go here. This is my private instance. See, now I'm getting the response back. Now I'm using NAT instance. So how to configure NAT instance? Let us wind up once again. While using NAT gateway, you have to create NAT gateway, one thing, and add it in your private route table. Only 2 steps. But NAT instance, you should create a NAT instance, add it in the private route table, and also you should off this source or destination checks, and also security group. You have to add this rule in the security. Clear, guys? Any doubts? So for NAT gateway, create NAT gateway in public subnet. So first step, create in public subnet. Add NAT route in private route table. Two steps. And then NAT instance, launch NAT instance in public subnet, and here AMI has to be NAT AMI, or let's say using NAT AMI. And then disable or stop source or destination checks. Third one. And here this is third one. So while creating your instance itself, you can edit the security group, right? Add rule in security group with that allows traffic from private subnet. And here you have to give CIDR block of private subnet. And the rule is inbound rule, right? Inbound rule. So you have to add inbound rule in security group that allows traffic from private subnet CIDR block. So that means you have to add this one, CIDR block, right? So let us all say all traffic into CIDR block. CIDR block I have used is 170.168.60/24. It looks like this. And then stop source or destination checks. And the fourth step, add NAT instance route and private route table. Write this one. Okay, guys, you can take screenshot of it. Quick reference when you're doing lab, right? And tomorrow we will talk about VPC peering and transit gateways, other services related to VPC. And try NatGaze and NAT instances as well. If you are facing any issues, let me know tomorrow. Okay, please take screenshot of it. Yes, then see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, guys. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.